Hi, welcome to the third lecture of chemical energetics. In today's lecture, we are going to study second law of thermodynamics. The first question arises that why the second law of thermodynamics was needed. We know that the very first statement of first law of thermodynamics, the statement is energy can neither be created nor destroyed, although it may be converted from one form to another. But this first law is incomplete because it does not place any restriction on the flow of energy. Hence, the second law of thermodynamics was needed. So, why there is a need of second law of thermodynamics? Because first law is incomplete as it does not place any restriction on the flow of energy. So, today we are going to study three different statements of the second law of thermodynamics. The first statement is by Kelvin. The Kelvin's statement is no process is possible in which the sole means overall result, is the absorption of heat from a reservoir and its complete conversion into work. This is the Kelvin's statement of second law of thermodynamics. Now we will see explanation of this statement with the help of a diagram. See, there are two diagrams A and B. In diagram B, firstly we are going to consider diagram B. There is a hot source. This round is a heat engine. This heat engine takes heat from this hot source and convert it into work. So there is a work done. So what diagram B tells us? It tells us that this heat engine takes heat from hot source and all this heat converted into work. But according to the statement of Kelvin, this cannot be possible. What Kelvin said? No process is possible in which the overall result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir and its complete conversion into work. So this is not possible. But now what actually happens? Actually, this heat engine takes heat from this hot source. Some heat is converted into the work and some heat is transferred to this cold sink. So not overall heat is converted into the work, but some is transferred to the cold sink. So this happens actually in reality and it is explained by Kelvin, that is no process is possible in which the sole result is the absorption of heat from a reservoir. Reservoir means that hot source and its complete conversion into work. Now we will see second statement. Second statement is by Clausius. What he had stated: heat does not flow spontaneously from a cool body to a hotter body. Now what is meant by spontaneously? Spontaneously means a process which can take place without the help of any external agency. So without the help of any external agency, heat does not flow from a cool body to a hotter body. So we know that heat can flow from hot body to cool body. But if you want reverse, that is flow of heat from cool body to hot body, it cannot be possible spontaneously or without the help of any external agency. See the diagram. This is hot sink and this is cold source. Now we know that heat can flow from this hot sink to that cold body. But if we want reverse, that is flow of heat from this cold source to hot sink, so So this is not possible. So statement is heat does not flow spontaneously from a cool body to a hotter body, and the spontaneous means a process which can take place without the help of any external agency. So these two are the statements of the second law of thermodynamics. Now we will see the third statement of second law of thermodynamics, and that statement is in terms of entropy. Now what is meant by entropy? This we will study in incoming lectures. Now at this point we are going to consider only the statement of that second law. Okay, now the statement is the entropy of an isolated system increases in the course of a spontaneous change. So in earlier slide we have seen what is meant by spontaneous. Spontaneous means a process which can take place without the help of any external agency. So the flow of heat from hot end to cold end, it is a spontaneous process. Then diffusion of gas from high pressure to low pressure, it is also spontaneous process. And the very common example is the flow of water down a hill. So we know that the water falling from higher, water falling from top to bottom, so it is the flow of water down a hill. So that process is also a spontaneous process. So during that spontaneous changes, the entropy of an isolated system increases. Now what is meant by entropy? Entropy is the measure of disorder or a measure of randomness. Okay, now in incoming lectures I will explain in detail what is meant by entropy and what are its characteristics and other things. But at this position you have to remember the definition of entropy. Entropy is the measure of disorder or measure of randomness, and the statement is this entropy of an isolated system increases in the course of a spontaneous change. So overall delta S total is greater than 0. The entropy is shown by the sign S, that S is used for the entropy, and delta S, it is the difference in entropy. S final minus S initial, it is delta S. So that delta S total is greater than 0. So it means that the initial entropy is less than the final entropy. Okay, initial entropy is less than the final entropy. It means that when we go from initial state to final state, there is a increase in entropy. So that difference become greater than 0. So this is the third statement in terms of entropy of the second law of thermodynamics. So before studying the further points of this chapter, chemical energetics, these all basic things in the previous lectures we have seen objectives of the thermodynamics, then limitations of the thermodynamics, zeroth law, different statements of first law of thermodynamics, then mathematical formulation of the first law, and now these three statements of second law of thermodynamics. So all these basic things you should know before studying in details that chemical energetics. The reference book for this chapter is Atkins Physical Chemistry by the authors Peter Atkins, Giulio Di Polla, James Skiller, 11th edition, and that book is published by Oxford University Press. Thank you.